Welcome everybody to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast hosted by two people who have no idea of how they want to do this.
Oh, that's a good one. It's true. We have no idea how we want to do this.
We've got no fucking clue.
We are making it up as we go along. But hey, people seem to be enjoying it, so I guess...
Yeah, that kind of sounded like you were joking, but it is...
Yeah, no, it's genuine.
It is the truth.
We have no idea what we're doing 1 week to the next.
No, we don't. We don't. But anyway, my name is John Santana.
I'm still Justin.
You are still Justin, and
Yeah.
Justin, are you still erect from last week?
I am. I still have like 5 tabs about Bind open on my PC right now.
I don't. It's been a long time since I've heard you that excited. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It has.
It was a great bloke though.
He was really cool.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that was kind of like the icing on the cake for me, because it's a really cool project being headed up by somebody who is really cool. And I think that's just something that I can like really get behind, because it's just good all around, you know.
And it's always good for a podcast when we have a host on who is more liked than us.
Yeah, that's always good. That's not threatening at all. Cheers for that, everybody.
Feedback in the comments. Oh yeah, he's such a great bloke. It's like, when the fuck have you ever said that about us?
To be fair, most of them have met us.
True. And some of them have had characters killed by me.
Yeah, there is that too.
So, yeah, there is a bias there, I would imagine.
Yeah, whereas, you know, it's all negative from us, and then a really cool guy who's created a really cool concept and a really cool system. I can see why they would prefer him. I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've kept in touch with him over the week, as have some other listeners of ours. Kept in touch over Mastodon, and yeah, we are looking to get a good old session put together.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So I'll talk about all that in a minute. So What about you? What have you been up to?
I have been doing some thinking, which is dangerous.
Notice my silence.
Yeah. And no, I've been carrying on with the staff project that I mentioned several weeks ago. I kind of stalled out on it for motivation, so I was working on that a little bit. What else was I up to? And then the thinking led me to a few things that I want to talk about with you later, but we'll get into that later.
No, that is absolutely fine. And sometimes when you've got a project and when you're working on something, it is important to take a step away.
Yeah.
And kind of come back to it.
See, I wish I could say I was doing it for healthy reasons. I took a step away because ADD brain. No other reason than my brain just went, yeah, not today.
Yeah, but still, that can be considered healthy reasons. That can be,
I guess, it's not forcing ourselves to crack on.
It's what your frame of mind needs. So you're just providing that. There's nothing wrong with kind of giving your brain the break it needs. So yeah, I'll always applaud that.
What about yourself? What have you been up to?
Not a huge amount. Both my games are currently in the middle of current sort of arcs, so there hasn't been a massive amount to work on. The heist, people are kind of now getting used to the whole flashback sort of addition to the mechanics, which it was a struggle. Which is understandable because, if you're not playing a system like Blades in the Dark where it is a central point of the game.
Yeah,
it
can be a bit sort of jarring, I guess.
Yeah, and it's hard not to think sort of linearly.
Yeah.
To kind of going into thinking in this okay, so I've got this sort of resource available to me, and but they are kind of falling into it. It's not something I'd probably rush to do again.
Hmm.
But that's kind of why I do these things in my games, because I want to try them out. I want to see how they land, see how they sort of are received. And I'm not saying it's been received poorly, but I don't think anybody would be excited for me to kind of bring this in on a regular basis. So, you know, you throw spaghetti at the wall, you kind of see what sticks.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the key though. If you can introduce something like that and take the feedback genuinely, and make changes, then that's always good. Because the last thing you want to do is try and implement something that you really think is a cool idea, but everyone at the table is kind of lukewarm or even cold on it, and then continue to try and like shove it in, because that's just going to lead to problems in the long run.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's something that you have to be able to take on the chin. Not everything you kind of provide your players, not every adventure or every sort of mechanical concept is going to land, and you just have to kind of have that dialogue of being able to go, right, guys, what are you thinking? Do you like it? Do you not? And the players, there has to be honesty from the players as well, because a lot of times players will just kind of go, yeah, it's fine, sort of thing, without kind of being honest. So it is all about opening dialogue between the GM and the players.
Yeah, and I think that's the key thing for anything, really, isn't it? I mean, the amount of posts that we've both seen on forums and Reddit and all over the internet of, oh, what should I do? And like every single one of these solutions would be solved by maybe have a chat.
Just be open and honest and just kind of say, look, this isn't working for me.
Yeah, and it's like, I think it's just one of those things that it's so important to have at your table, is to be have that open dialogue where people aren't just going to get shut down because they're perhaps not enjoying something that you really liked or something like that. Which actually, conveniently, and I'm going to be kind of jumping the gun on when we'd normally do this, but it kind of flows on from this. I think it's a good shout. Brings me to one of the things that I was thinking about.
Okay.
So, you know how quite often as DMs, because we're such a creative bunch, what we'll do is we'll steal plot hooks and stuff from other popular culture elements, right? Namely,
I don't know what
most fantasy books or films or things like that, right?
As I file off the serial number of something I'm writing. I don't know what you're talking about. It's all me, is it?
This is definitely mine. This isn't Lord of the Rings. This is Lord of the Necklace.
Lord of the Bling.
Yeah. But like it just got me thinking, right? What other like film tropes or concepts for films as a whole do you think would be really interesting for, like, not necessarily a whole campaign, but maybe like a short arc or a short little quest point, or even just like a fun little one-off, like for like a Halloween session or something like that, right? Because I had one.
Okay.
Which I think would be really fun.
Because I don't really believe in kind of like picking from specifics. Like, I may see something in a sci-fi movie that I will then translate into my fantasy game.
I see. No, I'm literally talking just concept, not like word for word plot, right?
Okay.
Now, the one I'm thinking,
right?
Freaky Friday. So everybody goes to sleep one night, right, around a campfire. When they wake up, they're all in different bodies. So they're still themselves, right? But like the warlock's now in the barbarian body. And everyone just passes their character sheets to the left.
I mean, that could work.
I just think it'd be a really funny, like, thing, right? If like everybody goes to sleep one night, and when they come to the next session, like a week later or a month later or however long between your games, everybody passes their character sheet to the left, and that's the body your character's now in for a little while until whatever you've decided in the back end is going to be the trigger to revert them. Because all of those films, right, like the Freaky Friday, or what some of the other ones that they had. There was one with Ryan Reynolds as well, with like those body. Yeah. Oh, dude, like there was so many of those body swap.
I know
films
those.
in, like,
I know there was one
90s,
with
2000s.
Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage.
But like all of those films, right, had some key moment where they realize, oh, my life's actually pretty good as it is, because they're always like bitching about their life. And the others say, oh no, I've got it worse, and then they swap bodies, and then they both go, huh, I've actually got it pretty good, and then they swap back, right? So you would have to figure out what you want that swap back moment to be for the group, right?
I would have the swap back moment being that each character realizes that the other person's life is equally as shit. I'd turn the whole trope on its head. It'd be like, oh, your life is so great, and this, that, and the other, and then by the time of the end of it, it's like, see, I told you your life was great. I don't want to go back into my body, and then it happens anyway because fuck them.
Yeah. So I think like that would be a good one, right? But then like there's so many other like 90s film things that I just think would be interesting just as a concept.
Well, there's always like the sort of non-supernatural twist on that concept anyway, which is the whole Prince and the Pauper.
Yeah.
Sort of
exactly
thing.
that.
I think Trading Places was one with Eddie Murphy, where you've got a person in a position of privilege.
Yep, and swaps places with a guy that doesn't have any.
That isn't. So that is, again, similar sort of concept, just without the supernatural aspect.
Yeah. Or even, I mean, to a degree, it was, the Parent Trap where the twins swap families and swap lives to try. I mean, granted, they're doing it to get their parents back together, right? But, like, I really like that whole idea of, like, them swapping roles, essentially. Because I just think it'll also be quite a weird one as well, especially if you've got, like, that, like, super intellectual wizard who's now suddenly in the barbarian's body. So he's still super intellectual, right? Because he's still him, but he's just got like muscles for days now.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably have to just swap over mental stats.
Yeah. So your intelligent wisdom would swap, but everything else stays the same.
So the barbarian who's got low intelligence and low mental stats, if he gets put in the wizard's body,
tough time,
he is fucked.
Oh, it's gonna be so funny.
Whereas the wizard will become the most powerful person in the world.
Oh, it'll be so funny. Yeah, but then the wizard's got to go out of his way to protect and that's the thing, right? The wizard's going to realize how hard a time the barbarians had keeping the squishy him alive all this time. Because he's now got somebody who's an idiot in that body, in that squishy body that's his body, so he wants to protect it, right? And the idiot's not going to be as clued up, so he's going to be doing reckless things. And this intelligent barbarian is going to have to try and save him, and he's going to realize, right, oh my god, this is so difficult. And the barbarian's going to be like, oh, I understand now why the wizard isn't just getting involved in all the combats, because he's actually quite fragile. And they'll have those moments of, oh, I get it from the other person's perspective now.
Okay, so you've got Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
So what other sort of tropes? I'm trying to think, and now you've kind of put me on the spot, because I'm trying to think of...
Welcome to my world.
I mean, you probably do, like, 90s movies, you did have a lot of underdog stories.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that's just D&D all over, though, isn't it, really? This ragtag group of people from the tavern get together to defeat the big bad. That's just tabletop role-playing games in a nutshell.
Not necessarily. Because you could just have a normal NPC, a commoner, right? Who, for whatever reason, always rolls natural 20s. So he could be put in a position where he rolls to hit the barbarian for whatever reason, and you could just go natural 20. And you could play it off as it's just pure dumb luck. That guy just happens to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great one.
That'd be an underdog story.
That would be that, and that'd be funny as hell. Especially if it's like some kind of gladiator event, right? That's happening in a town, and the barbarian's like getting super hyped up for it, and then he steps into the first round or something, and there's this like tiny little dude who's just like, "I'm not meant to be here."
Sorry, guys, there's been a mistake, and his helmet's kind of
like too big for him. Like...
Yeah, just kind of slightly covering his eyes.
Keeps dropping his sword.
You just give him an armor class through the fucking roof. Barbarian rolls a 19 on the die. It's like, no, you miss. It's like, what? It's just I don't know. He went down, he tripped or something, and you just happened to miss.
Yeah.
And he's closed his eyes and swung his sword, and you've been critted with a vorpal weapon.
Yeah. Like that kind of thing would just be, it would be really funny to have, right? Because it's going to create those moments of like, the hell? But yeah, like I just think there's a whole bunch of things there that, you know, haven't necessarily maybe been explored fully. That could be interesting. I mean, I guess that the one you were just saying is also a bit like the Waterboy, you know, with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, just make him like, really good at one.
Just one thing. Yeah, like one thing. That's
you know, he's not really useful in any other way. Just in one specific thing, he completely fucking wrecks. And if you wanted to kind of lean into the Waterboy, it would be charging people.
Yeah.
He just charges him and immediately knocks them prone, regardless of the enemy.
Oh, that would be so funny.
Like, that would be funny.
Like, charges into, like, some kind of snake creature, still manages to knock it prone.
Yeah, that may be a future character concept for my Pathfinder Society games. I never really take them seriously anyway, so I just build the most random character.
Yeah, I just think it's an interesting concept to maybe borrow from some other elements of popular culture that maybe get ignored a little bit.
Oh, 100%. I mean, my latest Pathfinder Society character is based off of the Monkey King. He's kind of a mix between the Monkey King and Jackie Chan in The Drunken Master. Yeah. Because there is a stance in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which is basically the Drunken Master.
Well, yeah, we have the same thing in 5e. We've got the Drunken Fist.
As soon as I saw that, it's like, yeah, I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah, dude, I've played one. It's so fun.
I just had him drinking the entire time.
Yeah. Well, so the time that I played it, we're playing. It was a 20th level evil campaign.
Is this the one that fucking won the tavern or what?
Yeah,
or something?
And it was because he was like, wear the drunk fist. He was like, well, I want the tavern because then he can drink for free for the rest of his life because he owns the fucking tavern. And that's the only reason he wanted the tavern.
Fair.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of like other concepts now. I don't know. I'll probably be blurting them out as we kind of go along. So yeah, speaking of like concepts and all that, speaking with our friend Marlon,
yes,
about this game this bind game that at some point I'm going to run. Basically, he earlier, was it today or yesterday or something like that? He said, okay, so yeah, there are a bunch of one-shots on the website, but if you want to write your own, get it to me and I'll put it up on the website. It's like, okay. So that's a thing that's going to happen.
Nice.
So not only are we going to be running a new system,
Yeah.
we're also going to be running a completely new module that we're going to be playtesting, and it will be, in a way, published.
That'll be really cool
for public consumption. So yeah, I'm definitely into that. So that is going to happen.
Nice.
But speaking of publishing,
loving that segue. That was amazing.
It was sexy, wasn't it? Have you seen that Tales of the Valiant are nearly ready for their alpha release?
I have seen that.
Yes. I'm getting excited because I'm a backer.
I know you are.
So, yeah, after 4 playtest packets and thousands of feedback submissions, it's time for the alpha release of Tales of the Valiant. It's a 177-page PDF, and you can expect all the rules you need to make characters and begin playing. 4 classes up to level 5. Weapon options, magic item pricing, fabled magic items that grow in power as your character levels up, equipment, spells, talents, and more.
And that comes out tomorrow, doesn't it?
That comes out tomorrow. So, yeah.
Someone's an excitable little bunny rabbit today.
Someone's got a chub. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I will be going through it, and I will be giving you my thoughts.
Well, speaking of thoughts...
Oh, dude, sexy. We're getting good at this segue.
Right. So, do you remember the other week I briefly read through the new playtest for D&D? Not one D&D, D&D.
D&D 1.
No, D&D.
One D&D. Yeah,
no, D&D.
Yeah, one D&D. Yeah.
And I said that they'd made a bunch of changes to the monk that were really good, and I was looking forward to those changes being in the game and making monk viable again.
Yes.
Well, that was all still true. However,
I was hoping they'd fucked it.
They have.
Yay.
But not in any way that they haven't fucked with monk. What they've done is they've created a new bardic college which give bards everything that monks get while still being bards, so they still get everything that bards get. So they're full spellcasters that are really, really good at martial fighting.
Okay.
So there's no need to play a monk, because you can just play a bard from this college, do everything a monk can do, but also everything a bard can do.
Is it that bad? Is it
to
that extreme?
Yes. I wish I was kidding. So yeah, literally, they get all of the features that make a monk, right? So they get the if you attack, you can use your bonus action to do an extra, unarmed strike. Your unarmed strike does more damage because instead of doing just an increased damage dice, so instead of a D4, it's a D6, and scaling as a monk does, it uses your bardic inspiration die, which is always bigger. So when a monk gets to max level and is hitting with a D10, you're punching with a D12 as this bard, etc., etc. So it literally has everything a monk has, everything a bard has, but it's also better at being a monk than a monk. So why would you play a monk? So they fixed monk, and then they're like, we fixed it. So, monk players, we fixed it for you. But for everybody else that still wants to meme on monks, have you considered bard?
So there's no sort of penalty to it? Because
no.
I know that,
none.
For example, in Pathfinder, when you are playing a class that gains access to another class's abilities, like if you use multiclassing or archetype. You don't get access to those abilities at the same time that the original class would.
That's the thing.
You get it like 4 levels or even 10 levels later.
That's the thing. It's not giving you access to the monk's abilities, the bardic abilities that happen to do everything the monk ability does.
Do these people actually talk to each other?
Clearly not.
Do they just kind of go, right, so Dave's finished the monk, right? Okay.
I should probably read that before I make my martial bard.
So I'm going to put that there. And Frank, what are you doing? I'm just doing a bard, mate. Okay, yeah, cool. There shouldn't be a fucking problem there. Lo and behold. Yeah. So how has this been received by, the wonderful civil group that is D&D players?
We've continued to meme on monks, is how it's been received.
Fair.
Yeah, it's essentially what's happened is they fixed monk and everyone was happy, and then we read the bard stuff and we're like, oh, wait a minute. They broke it again. Because there's just no need to play. There's just no need to play.
But this is still playtest.
Yeah, I mean it could well change. Yeah, it could well change before it comes out. But at the moment, if it stays as it is, there is no need to play a monk. You just play a bard from this bard.
It's not gonna stay as it is, surely. Surely they're not that fucking. Wait a minute. Yep, they're that stupid. They are that stupid, so...
I don't want to say bad things about the company that I like.
Oh, I do.
I know you do. But that's why I'm going to keep quiet, because I can't, they fucked up. They did. It's dumb. It's really dumb.
It is pretty dumb, and...
I'm hoping it gets fixed, because it can't stand. Otherwise, Monk just becomes useless again.
But the thing is, that is the whole point of a playtest. And sometimes in a playtest, you put out the most outlandish shit just to get the feedback.
Yeah, well, that's what they did with Druid, if you remember. They put out the Druid changes, and everyone went, no! And then they changed it back.
Now, well, then it's all going to be down to which class is going to get more support. Because if they're kind of analyzing this feedback via a polling method, there are some people out there that are going to go, Martial Bard, fucking yes.
Yeah.
Whereas there are people out there who are going to kind of realistically go, no, we've got a monk for this. Why is a bard sort of... So it's going to boil down to which of the classes is most popular, bard or monk.
I mean, bard's more popular. Nobody plays monk.
I mean, I know which I prefer.
Yeah. So I'll just read you a little bit of the College of the Dance Bards. Right, that's the college that...
And the College of the Dance. Oh, yeah. That is brilliant.
College of the Dance Bards.
Foo.
They can use their movement to inspire as well as attack. If you see an enemy end its turn within 5 feet of an ally and 60 feet of you, you can spend your reaction and use one of your bardic inspiration to move. You'll move half your speed, roll the bardic inspiration die, and your ally then gets to move equal to 5 times that number without provoking. So let's say they push up to your caster at the back, your squishy caster. As a reaction, you can do a dance, and then your squishy caster can piss off and not provoke and run 5 times whatever you roll on your bardic inspiration die.
And what is your bardic inspiration die?
Depends on the level.
So minimum D4?
No, I think it starts at a D6.
So potentially, at low level, somebody could move up to 30 feet for free.
Yes.
Without provoking.
Yes.
Jesus, yeah, that's already broken.
Bardic Inspiration at level 1 is D6, yeah. And then at 5th level, it goes up to a D8. And then 10th level goes up to D10. 15th level goes up to a D12.
That is already fucking broken.
Yep, and we're only getting started.
Holy shit. That is bad.
So they also get the evasion, so avoid damage on a successful dex saving throw instead of half. You can share this benefit with friends within 5 feet of you, right? So if you make you essentially have evasion, right? The rogue ability, where if someone throws a fireball and if you save, you take half damage. Is how it normally works. But if you have evasion, you take none, right? That's pretty standard. College of Dance Bards can share that with anybody within 5 feet of them.
Right.
So basically, it means that your entire party then has evasion without having to take evasion. Dance Bards are pretty quick on their feet, and they can spend a Bardic Inspiration die during the initiative roll to pass this feat on. When the die is rolled, simply pick a number of creatures within 60 feet equal to your Charisma modifier, and they get an initiative bonus equal to your roll. So essentially, you roll your Bardic Inspiration die, and up to your Charisma modifier, creatures get an initiative bonus equal to your roll. So if you rolled, let's say you're at 5th, 6th level, right, which is where most characters live, right, in most campaigns, sort of 5th to 10th is about average. So you're rolling a d8. You have the potential to add 8 to everyone in your party's initiative roll.
Yeah, that just sounds broken. That just flat off the bat, it just sounds like somebody's kind of been a really big fan of bards and they want to make them the most brutal fucking class in the game.
Yeah.
Which I don't necessarily agree with. Don't get me wrong, I love bards. Bards are my favorite class in any fucking system. You give me someone who can talk and manipulate people, that's me. But yeah, even I'm kind of going, oof.
Yeah.
Because why would you pick any other type of bard?
You just wouldn't, unless you want to go down a different route for your bard. But if you're intending to be any kind of combat focused group, you're going to pick this.
Yeah, of course you are.
It has so many benefits and zero drawback.
Yeah, I can see that getting.
It's got to get nerfed. It has to get nerfed.
If it doesn't,
guess what I'm playing? Dude, this class is the ultimate fucking power gamer's dream. Here's a class that is nothing but power. What's the drawback? Huh? What?
And it also will encourage power gaming, because normally power gaming characters have always kind of been very sort of self-focused. Whereas this is a powerful
I would disagree with you on that one.
Go on then.
So, well, purely because there is an entire YouTube series from a particular channel where he goes through a whole bunch of different builds and he categorizes them all. And he has got an entire section of power building support builds.
Fair enough.
So there is a subsection of power gamers that will like to pump out as much support as possible. There's also he's got another table for the ultimate tank builds and stuff like that, right? So he covers all bases. I mean, I get where you're coming from. For the most part, people tend to power game for doing damage in combat. But there is a whole subsection of power gamers that do everything. So yeah, it depends on which corner of the internet you're looking.
Well, that fills me with inspiration for D&D 1.
No, it's called D&D.
I'm still going to call it D&D 1. Because it annoys you.
It doesn't annoy me. I don't care. It annoys them.
Yep. We'll see how long that statement lasts.
But yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to give you that little bit of feedback because I know how much you love your bards. So I thought you'd be.
I do love my bards. I do
Yeah.
love my bards, but
I thought you'd appreciate that they fixed Monk and then immediately broke it by making Bard stronger. That's the same thing.
Well, I don't really have a cool segue. I can't even think of one for this next bit. So, I think you're winning on the segue competition this week. But Pathfinder and Starfinder RPGs are headed to augmented reality.
That sounds so cool.
Does it though?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I've never really been a fan of augmented reality.
I guess it depends on like how you do it. Because I mean the images that they've put up are kind of lame.
They are very conceptual images, aren't they?
Yeah. So I think it's going to be one of those things that it'll be cool if they do it right. Because essentially it means you have a virtual tabletop on your tabletop, right?
But you'd still need the physical space.
Yeah.
Which kind of, for me, defeats the point of using digital devices.
Well, here's the thing, right? You would still need a table, right? But if you've got one, you don't necessarily still have to be in the same place, though, right? So, for example, yourself, you've got players that are in, America, all over the world, right?
Yeah, at some point I have had, yes.
Right. So, if you've got players from America, players from here, players from, I don't know, somewhere else in Europe, things like that, and you've all got a dining room table, right? You only need to be looking at your dining room table to see everything. So everyone can see everything as if they're in person at the table, but they're at their own table wherever they live.
So what benefit does that hold over a virtual tabletop?
I guess it's more for players like myself who prefer the over the table game. So you could still sit at your table, looking at your table, essentially, right? Especially if you're to do it wearing like VR glasses, right? Because then it would feel a bit more like you're at the table with these people if everyone's doing that, right?
But surely the benefit of playing around a table is being able to look to your left and your right and see Dave and see.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Though, if you're doing it,
Jessica,
if you're doing it in like a VR environment with augmented reality, you could, in theory. It depends. That's what I mean. It's going to depend how it's done. If they do it right, and that is how it's done, that'll be awesome. Because I have seen poker. There's a couple of poker sites that do that with augmented reality. So you sit at your table, and if you look to your left and right, you do see the people at the table with you that are playing against you. But they're not there in real life because you're sitting in your living room, right? So if they do it like that, which I know is possible because I've seen it done in these poker games, then that'll be cool. Because then you get that over the table experience without having to actually be in the same room. If they don't do it like that, then it's going to be shit.
I don't know. I'm going to take a lot more convincing than that. I've never seen the utility in an AR. I mean, I know that when it first came out, it was this big thing. Oh yeah, augmented reality, and you can like bring up Google Maps and through the lens of your phone. It's like, why the fuck do I need to do that? I've just never seen the point of it.
I'm going to give you one thing for augmented reality that is going to make you go, oh, okay. Pokemon Go.
No, the brief time I played Pokemon Go, I immediately switched off augmented reality.
You are a weirdo.
Just immediate. It's like, I don't want to be holding my fucking phone up, pointing at a lamppost, pretending to throw imaginary balls at it. It's like, no, fuck it. I'll just have it in the sort of virtual thing, and I can take a seat and just look down at my phone and play to my heart's content.
You're a weirdo.
Well, yeah, but still,
Why are we friends?
doesn't mean I'm wrong. I don't know. So yeah, apparently it's. I did have the Mirrorscape.
Mm.
I need to find out about Mirrorscape because it seems like Paizo are aligning with a lot of different VTTs, like Foundry, Alchemy RPG, and all
Yeah.
those. Let's have a look at Mirrorscape. Who are Mirrorscape?
Oh, actually, okay. I see what they're doing though. So I've just gone to the Mirrorscape website, and they're all sitting around the same table, virtual tabletopping. So essentially, you get all your 3D models, your 3D city. So essentially, like my table, right? But without somebody having to make or buy all of those minis and cityscape like pieces and dungeon tiles. So from that element, I can see why it'd be pretty cool. But me being me, I'd rather have the physical thing.
And I don't think you're alone in that.
Yeah.
You know, I've famously said on this show, and I kind of stand by it, that I don't necessarily need the props.
Yeah.
Because I play in my imagination first and foremost.
Yeah.
So I don't need the buildings. I don't need any addition. It doesn't provide any benefit to me. But I know that there are a lot of people out there that do that. You know, it's what they enjoy. Not only playing with these things, but also making them, crafting them, creating them.
Yeah.
And having that just to me seems like a waste of time and a waste of space. Because when you could be playing at a table that does have this dungeon built with these physical walls, etc., and tokens, why the fuck would you just want to stick an iPad in front of you and play
and stare at a screen, yeah,
and stare at a screen at something that isn't there?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so I think, yeah, because the way that they're doing it is not the way I was hoping they were going to do it. So yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you that I don't think that's going to be a very good idea.
I get your point on playing at a distance, which I'm assuming that is a possibility.
Yes. So by the looks of it, it is. So I think they're like the way they're trying to market it on their site. I get what they're trying to do of like these people all sitting around a table and looking at these like 3D models on the table, and it's quite cool. But I think really it's only going to be beneficial if you aren't in the same room. Because if you're all in the same room, then I would rather just whip out a map and use the map, right?
Yeah.
And also like the pieces aren't that hard to build, right? I mean, you know me, I'm not the most creative of people, and you've seen the stuff that I can create. So if you've got any creative bone in your body, you can make like scenery very easily. Like it's very simple when you break it down.
No, yeah, I mean, I kind of, yeah, I'm struggling with this because, you know, for me, if you're playing in person, you're playing on a table.
Yeah,
you've got character sheets. If you wanted to use digital character sheets, fair play to you. But you've got character sheets, you've got real dice, you've got tokens of some description, you've got a map if needed. If not, you'd use in Theatre of the Mind. And this just kind of has... I'm looking at the fucking intro now. They're just all sat around a table, holding their iPads in front of their faces. How fucking uncomfortable is that going to become? For a 5-hour session.
And I mean, and then you're going to get into the thing of like, oh, well, you know, like for me, I would then 3D print a stand for the iPads, right? But if I'm 3D printing stuff, I might as well 3D print cityscape stuff.
Yeah.
You know, or if you're going out and buying like iPads and then stands for your iPads, just go buy some cityscape stuff if you don't want to make it yourself. Yeah, I think in person it's not really a viable option.
No.
But for virtual tabletops that want the over the table experience, I think it would be quite cool because it's going to add like an extra element because you get that 3D element rather than just the top down view. But other than that, I'm a little bit. I don't know.
There may be a market for it. I don't really.
I'm sure there is a market for it. I just don't think it's us.
No, God, no. I won't be investing in this.
No.
You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've invested in Foundry. I've spent a lot of money in Foundry. One of my players is paying for the Foundry, the Forge subscription. So between us, we are spending quite a bit on there. Yeah. But it works for us. You know, we don't mind the top-down view.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, for what I do as well, right? I need those top-down maps because I use them as the basis for my table with the physical elements because I've got the TV screen, right? And then I build up from that with models and my like other bits and pieces, like my scatter terrain and little cottages and all the other stuff I've built. So, yeah, I just. They're not doing it the way I was hoping they're going to do it. That's a bit of a letdown.
Anyway, coming to an iPad near you.
Augmented reality near you.
So, if you guys are interested in this, write in, let us know. Let's get this.
Tell us what we're not seeing.
Yeah. I would definitely like to kind of figure out what people would potentially see in this.
Or likewise, if you agree with us, write in and let us know, because then we won't feel like we're missing something. Because I feel like this is going to go one of two ways. We're either going to get a lot of people going like, you guys are clearly idiots, it's perfect for this, and then we're going to be like, oh yeah, I don't think of that. Or it's going to be a lot of people going like, yeah, I don't see it.
Another thing I saw, which kind of really interested me, is Modiphius are bringing out Cohor's Cthulhu.
I love a bit of Cthulhu. Tell me more.
Right. So Modiphius very famously produce Achtung Cthulhu, which is essentially Call of Cthulhu or a Cthulhu-esque setting, but it is set in World War II.
Yep.
Cohor's Cthulhu is the same, but set in Roman times.
Come again?
That just seems really fucking interesting to me.
Roman Cthulhu.
Roman Cthulhu. It just seems... Mighty warriors of Rome and their barbarian foes join forces to battle nameless horrors from beyond space and time.
It's set in the same. Needs to go on the list.
It's set in the same universe as the Achtung Cthulhu. This time introducing adventurers to an era of daring gladiators, valiant centurions, and brave Germanic heroes. Now, the only thing really that makes me question this is that when I played Achtung Cthulhu, I was made to understand after the game that the objective is to learn more about these eldritch horrors, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
I just can't see being able to justify that in Roman fucking times.
Well, looking, because I'm just looking through the website now, I don't think that this is the same. Because on the site for this, it says that it puts you on the front lines of the known world in the 2nd century using fire, steel, and ancient technology to fight eldritch horrors. So this one, it seems like it is just you are battling the eldritch horrors to keep them at bay.
That could be interesting.
Well, because, essentially, right, it would be... Because obviously, like, during the Roman Empire, there were wars happening everywhere to try and expand the empire / defend the empire, right? But what if in the background, right, which is the setting here, like the underground, there was another war that was not for the Roman Empire, but for the world.
Yeah, it does seem interesting. It does seem...
Well, I think we won't put it on the list just yet, but I think we do put this on the watch list.
Oh, yeah. There's the quick start. I'm just adding that to the cart.
Yeah.
It's for free, so I'm getting it.
Happy days.
But yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's an interesting time period, which I don't think it's really been done, at least in the major sort of RPGs. Guaranteed, there's plenty of RPGs out there that cover this, but.
And if any of you guys out there know of some, let us know, because I love this time period and I would love to play more games set in that time period. So if you do know any, please let us know, because I'd love to give them a try.
Yeah, definitely. That one, yeah, put that one on the watch list.
Yep, already done.
Outstanding. And I think, speaking of Modiphius had something else.
They're always up to something.
No, maybe it wasn't Modiphius. I think it might have been Chaosium. Oh, yeah, no, sorry, Modiphius did bring out the quick start for Dreams and Machines.
Oh,
yes, I've already got it.
Good man. Does that mean we can put it on the list?
Yeah, we can.
We didn't put it on the list because we were waiting.
Yeah, Dreams and Machines is already on the list, but yeah, I got the quick start for it. Just seems kind of, rules-wise similar to Actum Cthulhu. So I just kind of need to brush up on that a tiny bit, and I can run a session.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
Yeah, loads of cool shit coming out as of late.
Yeah, I think we're getting to that time of year. It's the pre-Christmas announcements. People want to get the announcements out, so people are like, "Oh, I'd like that for my Christmas present."
Yeah, conventions.
Yeah,
as
conventions coming up soon. I think there's a lot of stuff in like August, September time.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Chaosium's brought out the Pendragon starter set, which I think it's Arthurian. If you are into,
I think the giveaway would be the name Pendragon.
See, I'm such an uncultured swine that would have gone straight over my fucking head.
Well, that's King Arthur's surname. His name is Arthur Pendragon.
Again, uncultured swine over the head. I ain't got a fucking clue. I knew there was some tart in a lake throwing swords at people. And I only know that through Monty Python.
Oh my god, it's funny because it's true. My gosh.
Yeah, I mean, this hasn't really caught my attention, but it's definitely, worthy of note.
I am going to quickly interject because you mentioned a film, and I have another concept from a film that I would like to throw at you.
Go on, then.
Although, as I say that, my brain has decided to forget what I was going to say. So I need to remember it very quickly.
It's okay. Don't put pressure on yourself. We can always come back. We can always come back to it, man. Just shout it out when you get it. It's not a problem. I'm just kind of going through this Pendragon stuff. Do you believe in chivalry, or do you... Yep, sorry.
I remembered it.
All right.
So it's not actually a film thing, right? But it'd be a really funny concept for a character.
I'm listening.
So, in most of these fantasy worlds, right, deities are not just accepted. Like, it's widely known that they're real, right? Like, they exist, for the most part.
Yes.
An atheist character.
I feel like that's been done before.
I'm sure it has, but dude, it would be so funny, especially if there's like a cleric in the party who's constantly like praying to his god to heal this person, and while they're healing this person, like the rogue's just sitting there like, dude, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? There's nobody up there. What are you doing? It'd be a bit like a flat earther, but like
there is. Okay, because there is an excerpt in, I think it's the Pathfinder First Edition core rulebook, where it says that atheism in this world isn't necessarily the lack of belief. It's just the refusal of.
Yeah, no. So I mean like an our world atheist, right? Where they just don't believe that it's real, right? And they're just adamant that it is not real. Not the refusal of the gods. Like they're just adamant that the gods don't exist.
So, like you say, like a flat earther, essentially.
Yeah, essentially, because like there's empirical evidence that these deities are real in this world, and this guy's like, nah.
No, but to play that properly, you would have to come up with some arguments,
theories. Yeah.
Some like proper, well thought out arguments.
You would have to put the tinfoil hat on and go in deep.
Oh yeah, you'd have to method act the shit out of it.
It would be amazing, though.
Yeah, okay, I can see that being quite interesting. I think the character that I sent you yesterday, I think I need to do that. Basically, Ron Swanson.
Yeah. Oh, I did actually. So there's a guy on. He posts like shorts on Instagram and YouTube and stuff. And he does a lot of like Cards Against Humanity D&D stuff. I don't know if you've seen him at all. Where instead of like dice rolls or anything like that, you draw a card and then the card tells you what happens.
Right.
It's a really cool concept. It's like there's some funny results, but he said something that would be, I think, really fun to do with a warlock, where your patron is the DM.
Yeah, you sent me that. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So not like the DM as like, you know, an entity in the world, like, but the actual person, like Dave at the end of the table. And that to me is just hilarious because like you'll have this warlock having like a crisis of like, oh no, what do I do to save my friends? And then you've just got like the DM at the end of the table, like, I don't know, like take a breath, I guess. Count to 20. I don't know how to help you here, my guy.
No, I mean, yeah, that's one of those concepts that it would get very old very fucking quick.
Yeah, I think it would only really work for like a one shot or like a very short campaign, but it would be a fun concept. Because I mean, let's be honest, right? We are otherworldly beings to our characters. If you want to go like high level on this shit,
oh, it's far too late. Fuck that! I cannot be fucked.
We are technically otherworldly beings. We are beings that exist in a world other than theirs.
I'm just going to kind of go ahead and go, yeah, all right then. Just because it's, you know, it's fucking 10 o'clock at night right now. And I just can't be fucked going down certain rabbit holes.
Oh, I live down those rabbit holes, though.
Right. So this is something that that I actually saw a couple of weeks ago, and we'd never really got to talk about last week because obviously we were chatting to Marlin and it was fantastic. But this is something that really caught my interest, and it just kind of highlights the positivity that this hobby can bring to a certain degree. There was a feature, and it was published on the 2nd of July. I think someone on Mastodon posted it, and I just kind of followed it. And it is that wartime creates a surge in Ukrainian tabletop role-playing games. And it is, you know, the horrors that are kind of going on over there.
Yeah.
You know, people are using this hobby to kind of, at least for a brief fucking moment, to be able to escape the hellscape that surrounds them and play tabletop role-playing games. And there's a whole feature on it. And I will post it in the Facebook group because I think it's at the very least people should give it a read.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's like you say, it is just one of those things that, you know, you really do get to see just how awesome the people in this space are. That, you know, even amongst all of that, that's going on over there, they are able to kind of dive into this world and enjoy themselves and kind of just distract from everything that's happening around them.
Yeah, I mean the article focuses on Tasha Dashkiewicz, who basically said that her community thrived, and obviously referring to the role playing community, thrived since the Russian invasion began.
Yeah.
And she held her first online session open to anyone who wanted to join, and she was surprised who showed up. Some of them were IDPs, internally displaced persons. Some of them were military veterans. And it seems that these games have found sort of a new life for Ukrainian gamers during this horrible fucking time. And it just, we always kind of sing the praises of this hobby. We always kind of are very quick to kind of say how good it is for people and how good the escapism is. But this is sort of like empirical evidence of that. And hopefully the need for that escapism doesn't last long.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they've got it,
Yeah, it's always nice to find something to get yourself out of, just any negative stuff that's going on in your life. Now, obviously, their negative stuff is pretty bad, to put it lightly. But I mean, even just like for people not in a situation that's that bad, right? Obviously, but even just like in your day-to-day life, to find something that lets you just kind of switch off from that and relax.
Yeah, I think it's great, and again, it's just testament to how important this is.
Yeah,
how important these stories that we tell with our friends, how important and relevant they become.
Yeah,
and I think it's fantastic, and it's just kind of reaffirming for me that out of all the hobbies I could be doing, I'm invested in this. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring that to the table because it is in a dark fucking time, just like a glimmer of light.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. Now, shall we lighten up the mood a little bit?
Yeah, let's do that.
And head over to Couch's Corner.
We shall.
Because I'm sure he sent us something.
Yeah, we have 2 this week.
Oh, do we now?
Couch does have competition.
Does he now?
He does have competition. Yeah.
Interesting.
So let's go with Couches first, shall we?
Okay.
So this question has been sent in by Couch of the Southern Kingdom from Chelmsford 226688. And Couch's,
I forgot about that advert.
And Couch's question is, as you spoke to Marlin last week, if you could create a tabletop role-playing game, what would be your hook? Would you have a genre that no one has done before, or a setting that you have never seen? What would be your personal choice?
Oh, that's a good one. I really like the concept of like a cyberpunk setting, or even like a steampunk setting. So something like that, I think, would be pretty cool. But beyond that, I don't really know.
I mean,
I think I would probably do something with cards rather than dice. But that's purely because I roll dice like shit and I like playing cards.
You do roll like dice like shit.
I do roll dice like shit. And I really like playing cards, right? So I would do some kind of system around cards where you draw cards from like a central deck. So there'll be like one deck of cards in the middle of the table. And then whatever like cards you draw is essentially your roll, right? And yeah, so something around that, I reckon. is how I would do it. But I think the setting would definitely be kind of steampunky, that kind of vibe.
Well, for me, it's a bit of a loaded question. Because I'm currently doing my own setting. I'm currently creating that. And I'm creating it in a way that it is not fixed on one genre.
Yeah.
So essentially, the world that I submitted to Tales of the Valiant, I've taken that concept and I've expanded upon it. And I've essentially created a world where I can have little pockets of civilization that will have evolved separately from each other.
Mm.
So they will be completely fucking different.
Yeah.
So the first one I'm doing, or the first campaign I'm doing, is going to be a cyberpunk sort of campaign where the players will be in a criminal gang. And, I drew inspiration from, mostly from a series of Hong Kong movies called The Young and the Dangerous. Sorry, The Young and Dangerous, where I think there's about 7 or 8 of these movies, but you kind of show how these kids in the triad grow up in the ranks and end up being mafia bosses in their own right. And I always kind of love that. So that was kind of the first sort of campaign, the one I'm focusing on now. But I do have other things in mind which will change the genre completely.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Really cool.
But in terms of like a specific game and setting intertwined, I've always, for some reason, kind of wanted to do something with Voltron.
Okay, that sounds fun.
I love that fucking cartoon as a kid. And I'm talking about the vehicle Voltron, not the fucking lion bullshit. I'm talking about so I rented that movie out so many fucking times. My parents were sick of taking me to the video store and it'd be like, right, John, what do you want? Voltron. You've seen it 20 times, John. I want Voltron. So I've always kind of had that, and to the point that I, at one point, was trying to shoehorn Pathfinder into it. Like, how can I make Voltron in Pathfinder? And there are systems out there that do cater to mechs.
Yes.
But they are very much focused around mechs. What I wanted to do would to create a system where you would be able to play as your characters, but then have the mechs as an option.
Yeah.
So there could be the point of you as a character find yourself stranded being attacked by this fucking eldritch abomination, which one touch will kill you. And you have to run to get to your mech in order to protect yourself. So I was always kind of wondering how to play that. And not only that, how to play it in a way where multiple players can quote unquote join together.
Yeah.
And
not give away like some kind of autonomy.
Yeah, exactly. Not do the fucking ship rules in Pathfinder First Edition.
Yeah.
And have every player feel equally relevant, which isn't fucking easy.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I would begin to do that, but that would be my sort of focus.
That sounds pretty cool. I would definitely give that a try.
Yeah, I've got no fucking clue on where to start.
Yeah, I feel like mine would probably be a little bit easier to put together.
Yeah, I'm guessing yours would be. Mine I would have to
essentially with playing cards.
I kind of go back and forth because every now and again it does crop up of, oh, okay, I could try this. This could work.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of fall by the wayside and just go, nah, fuck it. It's never going to happen. But maybe one day I'll get the inspiration.
Yeah.
And I will start writing down mechanics.
That's a very good question. I like that one. Thank you, Couch.
Yeah. All right. So, Couch's competition, sci-fi.
Oh, he's fired in another one, has he?
He's fired in another one, and he's writing from somewhere in the Underdark.
Interesting.
What do you think of trickle heals? And he puts out an example: 2 hit points a turn for 10 turns, etc. He had a player cast one on a dying character to bring him back up. My thought as a GM was it was quite dangerous as it's not a lot. And if the player doesn't move out of there, it's easy to go down again. And when do you think is a good time to cast similar sort of spells?
See, in my personal opinion, in 5e anyway, I can't talk too much about other systems because I haven't really played a lot of them. In 5e, I feel like healing is only worth doing when somebody is downed. Any other time, you're not healing for as much as they can take in a turn from something the same level.
Right.
Like if you look at like cure wounds, right, in 5e, let me just pull up the. Probably hear me typing furiously as I talk. Cure wounds is 1d8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier, right? So at most in 5e, because you can't go above a 20 unless you get like special items that let you, that's going to be a +5, right? So it's 1d8 +5 at the very, very highest like ability modifier. And then for every level above first that you cast it, it increases by another d8. So at, say, 5th level as a cleric, right? You get, what's the highest level spell you've got? I think it's like 3rd level. Yeah, you get 2 3rd level spells. So that means that it's 3d8 +5. So at maximum, that's what, 29 hit points? Maximum?
Yeah.
Minimum of 8. So 1, that's a huge swing, one way or the other, right? I mean, even average, that's going to be like what? It's 4.5 times 3, so that's 9, 13 and a half. So you're looking about 18 on average you're going to heal with that. Like if you're a 5th level cleric casting it. So you're going to be healing on average 18. And at 5th level, most things you're fighting can output more than 18 hit points in a single round. And you're not normally fighting one thing. It's normally multiple.
Yeah.
So it just feels like you're only going to benefit from healing somebody when they're actually at 0. Because then even if you heal them a minimum, right, you're bringing them back into the fight. Whereas if, let's say, I healed you for 8, right, I rolled like I do, roll 3 ones, right, and then +5, healed you for 8, and then you get hit for 16. Okay, yeah, you've still gone 8 damage down on where you were and where you started, and I've wasted a 3rd level spell slot.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
So
well,
personally, I think
sorry.
something. So I was just going to wrap up and say, personally, I think having some kind of trickle where they're constantly down and brought back and down and brought back is the best way to actually heal.
In Pathfinder 2nd Edition, healing is a lot more substantial.
Fair.
So you cast. So basically, let's say, what did you say? 5th level.
Yeah. So if you're at 5th level, yeah.
Okay, so 5th level, casting a 2-action heal. That would be at 3rd level. So that would be, if I'm not mistaken, 3d8 plus 24.
Yeah. See, that's the difference. That plus 24.
Yeah, but only on the 2-action, because that is the most powerful heal that you've got. 3 action is a burst, like a channel, and 1 action is just a quick heal. So the 2 action, so every spell level, the dice increases by 1, and the bonus increases by 8, I think it is. So yeah, it would be 3d8 plus 24 at 3rd level.
Yeah, see, that makes it a lot better.
So it is a lot more substantial. In terms of the trickle, I think there is always a place for them, because those 2 points that player gets back could potentially mean the difference between life and death.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially if it is a downed player. And because chances are anything that does that is going to be relatively low level.
Yeah.
So that is just a quick, right, there you go. You're back on your feet. Now you need to do something. Get out, get into a defensible position, whatever, but that is on you now. But it's going to last for 10 turns. So if you drop again, you're going to be back up again. And it's going to carry on doing that. Obviously not ad nauseum, because there is a limited amount of times that you can get knocked down before you're not allowed to come back up. But yeah, so I do think it may not be the ideal, because, you know, if you can cast a 2 action high level spell, you can bring them back up substantially and make them a bit more hardy. But, you know, if your back's against the wall and that's all you've got, fucking go for it.
Yeah. I think it really comes down to the system as well for something like that, right? Because a 2 hit point ticking heal for 10 rounds, right, in 5e is going to be really strong for a downed player, because there is no, oh, you've been down 5 times, you can't get back up in 5e.
Yeah.
You can get down 100 times in a combat and get back up, and it's fine. I mean, at that point, it would come down to sort of the DM going, guys, come on, let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, the way it works in 2nd edition, if you go down, you get a dying value that goes from 1 to 4. So you go down once, you're dying 1. When you get brought back up, unless you're healed to full, you are wounded.
Right.
So you are wounded 1. So that means if you are wounded 1 and get put down to the dying position, you add that wounded on. So you'd go to dying 2. So it kind of increases exponentially. If they do bring you back to full hit points, you lose the wounded condition. So technically you can be up and down, you know, unlimited, but there's a lot more to it. Yeah, there's a lot more nuance to it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think something like that would be very powerful in 5e, but by the sounds of it, less powerful in Pathfinder 2nd edition.
I think it's a break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah.
You know, you've got someone down, you've only got a low level spell left. Bang.
Pop it. Yeah, pop
there
it.
You go, and
exactly.
Let's fucking move.
Yeah, whereas in 5e, that would actually, personally, that would be my go-to when somebody was downed, because it's just going to keep bouncing them around back, downed up, downed up, downed up. So I think the best way we can answer that question would be, it depends on the system. Some systems that's going to be very powerful, some it will be less. But regardless of system, if it's all you've got and it's going to save somebody's life, pop that spell.
Yeah, I agree. And I know that sci-fi plays the same system as I do.
Yeah.
I think it was probably a good use of the spell, to be honest. You know, dying character, even if they get 1 hit point, that means they're back on their feet.
They're back in the fight.
They're back in the fight. They can then do something. They then have agency.
Yeah.
Where they can get out of fucking danger, first and foremost.
Or even just chug a potion, right? If they've got one in their bag, pull it out and chug it.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely has a place. And I think, system dependent, it can be either very, very strong or just a get out of jail free card. Depending on how healing works and in system of choice.
Yeah. So I think that's all we've got time for today.
Yes.
All right. So thank you to Sci-Fi and Couch for 2 amazing questions once again. Thank you to you, Justin, for spending some time with me. Would you like to tell the people where they can find you on Tinterwebs?
I would indeed. So you can find me on most platforms as Just an Accurate TV. And of course, I am in our Facebook group as well. So if you need me, you can reach me there.
Yeah, as for me, you can find me on most of the social media sites as @NaturalJuan. I'm mostly active on Mastodon. I've kind of stepped away from Twitter and Threads and all that, but I'm still reachable if you wanna reach out there. Also, we have actually set up a website. I say that it's a fucking blogger site, but it'll do. It'll do. And that is at toolegit2crit.uk. You can listen to all our episodes on there. And I'm even going to be posting a blog once a week just to kind of, give you guys a bit more insight into the actual production of the show as opposed to just waffling on about tabletop role-playing games.
That is the production of the show. What are you talking about?
Yes. So I just want to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy days just to listen to us waffle on. And tune in next time.
We will see you all very soon.
Thank you very much. Good night and keep rolling.